Welcome, everyone, to Coffee with a Codex. My name is Dot Porter. I am a curator in the Kislak Center for Special Collections um, at the University of Pennsylvania. I'm also in the Schoenberg Institute for Manuscript Studies, which is a research and development institute focused on the study of manuscripts. And we do a lot of digital work. Actually, most of what I do involves digitization and working with digitized materials. But we also have a couple of really fantastic physical collections. And for Coffee with the Codex, once a week for 30 minutes, I just take a book off the shelf and do a little show and tell. If you've been here before, welcome back. It's great to have you. If you're new, you're very welcome. This is quite informal. If you have questions as we go, please feel free to type them in the chat, and Amy or I will answer them. Um, I am a manuscripts specialist, but I am not always a specialist on everything like content-wise, but I'll do my best. This one, though, I know a bit about. Oh, I forgot to put the links in. Let me put the links in one more time so you can follow along. The catalog record, which is the first link, that has a description and a link to the digitized copy. There's information on what we're doing next week, a link to our mailing list if you're not on it already, and then a few other things that might be of interest to you. Okay, so today's manuscript is this one. This is LJS 463. LJS means it's in the Lawrence J. Schoenberg collection, or just the Schoenberg collection. This is a 15th century German manuscript, and in the record we call it a medical and astrological miscellany. That means that it contains texts both having to do with medicine and with astrology. Although it's important to remember that at this time, the people who were doing medicine used astrology as part of their medical practice. So this, to them, would have been a not a strange amalgamation of two very different things, but two things that they would work together. The binding is pigskin over wooden boards, and it doesn't say in the record what the dating is, but it seems pretty early to me. Um, but it's pretty neat, and it's got these clasps that are here. So I'm going to open up the clasp. This is always fun. I had to learn to do this. To get them open, you have to squeeze the book a little bit, and then you can flip the. Oop, come on. There we go. Flip that up, and then it will open up. It is written on parchment, and it's pretty tightly bound, so I can't open it too far, but I'll do my best as we go. So it opens up with the calendar for the Diocese of Constance in there. And this is interesting because another type of book, another genre of book that pretty much always opens up with a calendar is a book of hours, which is a prayer book. And in the calendar, it's the sort of the map of the church year. So for each of the days, you're noting holidays and you're noting days when particular saints are being venerated. Also, like calendars in books of hours, the illustrations in this calendar include zodiac signs, illustrations of zodiac signs, and labors of the month. And these are also the kinds of things that would be found in calendars and books of hours. These, however, include additional text that's been written in that I have never seen in a book of hours calendar, and I assume that it is some kind of medical text, maybe relating to what's happening in the calendar with medical practice. So this is sort of fun. So let's go through here. And remember these zodiac illustrations, because we'll be seeing a lot of these as we go through. This is German. It looks very German. The script is a little bit, I think of it as, I'm sure there's a term for the type of script. It's like a Gothic, let me see what a Gothic textura and a cursive script. Oh, and it's all written by one scribe. Amy says Gothic cursive, yes. And it's all written by a single scribe. And I think of it as being, I can't think of the word that I use, but it looks like, when I look at this, I think, oh, that really looks German. And if I look at any other manuscript that's sort of written in the same script, it looks very German to me. And that's sort of the extent of my paleography there. So we'll go through. Here's more of these. There's Leo. There is someone chopping. Oh, he's not chopping wood. I always think he's chopping wood, but I think he's hoeing the ground. Here we have that. You'll see a lot of pink. There's a whole lot of pink in this manuscript, often with men wearing pink, but obviously also female characters wearing pink. Really nice color here. Here they are stomping grapes. They're going to be making some wine. And this is, what month is this? September. So they're making wine in September and sowing seed in October, November. There's always going to say archery. Here he is chopping wood in his jaunty outfit. There we go. And then we should be at the end of the calendar. And here we're going to be in December. We're going to be doing some slaughtering of animals and sort of storing food for the winter. The next section after the calendar is a treatise on the signs of the zodiac. So we're going to be seeing, again, these illustrations here. So we're starting with Aries, who is the ram here. And I haven't read the treatise, and I'm not sure exactly what it is, but I'm sure it's sort of like modern astrology, where it's like, if you were born in the during the time of Aries, here are some things about you that, again, the purpose is a medical one, so it would be looking towards medical. So Joyce asks, says, charming illustrations. Do you know if there is a single artist? I wonder because some look different. I don't know about the art. I know that that's all one scribe. I've assumed that it's one artist, but I'm not sure, and I'm not sure if. Let me take another look at the record. The record doesn't really say anything about it, and I don't know if it's been looked at very much by art historians. I know that folks who study medieval medicine have looked at it. I don't know about the art though. Let's see. So now we're on to Leo. Believe it or not, this is Cancer, the crab. So they had interesting ways of drawing crabs there. Virgo, the Virgin. And Libra is the balance. Let's see, Scorpio. This one has quite a little face on him. I always feel like they make Scorpio and Cancer look quite similarly. So, similar. Let's see, and then we have the Archer, Sagittarius. Capricorn is the goat. Aquarius in the water. And Pisces, the fish there. So once we're through with the signs of the zodiac, then we move on to the next section, which is it's sort of continuing with the astrology portion. This is a treatise on planets and their children. So we've gone through the 12 signs of the zodiac, and then we have the planets, And I know very little about astrology, but my understanding is that the planets have some control over some of the zodiacal signs. So, and it's illustrated like this. So here's Saturn, um, and under his feet we have the goat, which is uh, Capricorn, right? I'm pretty sure that's the goat, Capricorn, and then Aquarius under him. And they look very similar. If you compare them with the ones that are earlier, they look quite similar. Um, them. And then again, the text I think would be, you know, medical related, but that. And then this, I think this is Mars. I'm guessing this is Mars. That looks pretty violent there. And then we've got Pisces and Sagittarius, right? I don't know. I have to look at my list to see which signs these are. Oh, I guess that's Mars. Who is this? Amy, do you know who this is? There's no maybe it is Mars. Jupiter. Yes, okay, that's Jupiter with Pisces and Sagittarius. Thank you, Elizabeth. That's helpful. And then this is Mars because he's dressed like a warrior, right? Like a knight. And he's got the ram. So that's Aries, the ram, and Sagittarius, sorry, Scorpio, the scorpion. And then while we're here, I do want to point out too, it has these incredible manicules with great big long fingers that are great, and they have these great colors on them. So you'll see them, or I should say cuffs on them. So you'll see plenty of them too as I sort of page through here. And this is actually, we can see here, there's the sun. Ooh, Tess suggests maybe Jupiter after killing Saturn, and that's who the head was. So that could be cool. So we have the sun here, and she is sitting on, it looks like two lions. So I don't know enough. Maybe someone else knows what's happening here. But there's the sun, and here is Venus, and she's got Taurus and Libra there, and she looks very nice. She's got a mirror, right? Looking in the mirror. Here's Mercury with two snakes twined together, and we've got Virgo and Gemini under Mercury. And then this is Luna, so the moon, and she is on Cancer. I think that's Cancer. Doesn't look really like a crab. But there she is, and I love that she's actually got the moon behind her and these wheels. I can, just looking at this, you can tell everything has meaning. She's holding a horn, and she's got fire, and she's got wheels, and I wish I could tell you more about what it all means, but for whoever would have been using this book, that would have been really really important. All right, so the next, in just a couple pages, is a treatise on the skies. So we've got the zodiac, and we've got the planets and their relationship to the zodiacal signs, and then we've got a treatise on the skies. And I think that this doesn't have. Maybe it's no, here we right. So this is great. So we've moved from the sort of theoretical part of here's what all of the star movements mean. And this is actually, now we're going to look at the sky. And what this illustration is we have these two guys together. He has what's called a quadrant, which is sort of a quarter of I'm going to forget the name of it, but it was a round, like a circular tool that was used to look at the sky to determine the movements of planets and stars, and you could also see where you were on Earth in relation to it, and that's what he's doing. So they're taking some measurements of the sky. Astrolabe. Thank you, Elizabeth. Yes, it's like a quarter of an astrolabe. So there's a moon and stars, and they're looking at it, and he's using this instrument to do his measurements, and then this fellow here is writing them down. So that's what's happening. Okay, Sarah says Cancer is sometimes drawn as a crayfish or lobster. I think that's what's happening. Is it looks like a crayfish. I think Joyce is asking if this is a manicule. That might be a capital. I think it's etem. I think that's a capital I, actually, and not a manicule. But there have been a lot of manicules sort of down in this corner. But I see TE. Well, maybe not. I'm not sure. But it is odd if it's a manicule. All right. And now we're moving on to the more medical, more explicitly medical parts of the book. So this next one is a treatise on the four temperaments, or what I think we would probably call the humors. And the four humors are, I'm going to forget the names of them. Well, they involve red, there's blood, yellow bile, black bile, and phlegmatic. So these are illustrating, the next four illustrations are each one of these. So I think um, this is illustrating red, uh, the, the blood, because they are having a good time, and so their blood is pumping well. Yes, sanguine. Oh, and yes, melancholy, which is, I think, melancholy, black bile. I have a list, but it doesn't include everything I want. And then we have sanguine curator. So I think they're having a different sort of time, and then they are fighting. This is not. I think this is yellow bile. They are hot and fighting. So there was this connection between, well, this is what it is. He's beating her up, but it's because his humors are out of balance. So this was this theory that you have these four things in you. You have blood, black bile, yellow bile, and phlegm. And in order to be healthy, these four things have to be in balance. And if you have too much of any one of them, you become too angry or too lazy or too happy, right? And so this is why there's this practice of bleeding. Um, so I don't. So Tess is asking, what does the German say? I can't read this German, so I can't tell you what the German says. And I don't know. There's no indication in the record that we have a full translation of this, or if these texts have been translated. Yeah, I'll zoom in. Here we go. So here's a view of that one. So this is not a happy scene, but if we go back to here, they are. It's a little hard to tell what's happening. Let's see. Yeah, I think this is sanguine up here. This is sanguine, and um, all right. So, all right. But let's move on because there's still some good stuff here. So that's the four temperaments. Oh, and I missed one. So the next section after that is this is a much longer section, and it includes instructions on bloodletting, cupping, bathing, and some recipes. And there aren't a lot of illustrations here. Most of this is text written out, but there are some really interesting ones. So this one I'm going to zoom in on because this is bloodletting. So what we've got here is she's doing exactly what it sounds like. So she's cut her arm, or maybe he's cut her arm, and it's bleeding into a cup because she has too much blood, according to this Homeric theory. And she's going to, this will help make her, more healthy if she is in uh, in balance with all four of her humors. And more of these amazing things. I'm going to pause here for a second because there's something sort of interesting, excuse me, happening here in the inner margin. It looks like something metal has been put in here and the book closed because this is rust. So something was in here long enough to rust. It would be interesting to think that because of the shape of it, it looks like it could be something sharp. So maybe even an implement to, do some medical cutting or something. It's really hard to say because of course it's not there anymore. But we can sort of imagine that. But it's an indication that the book was used, in some way. It wasn't just sitting on a shelf. People were using, and not only were people reading it, but maybe they were like actively using it during um, medical things. That's a little bit of fiction that I'm making up, but I like to imagine that. Um, so I know that there's a lot of interest in the text. If anyone would like to take the high resolution images from online and do do some transcribing and some editing, that would be amazing. Let me know, because we have some other projects going on where we're working with some other manuscripts. Um, so I would be we'd be all incredibly supportive of that. Yeah, so I've sort of been sitting here with this open, talking like there's nothing going on. So this is a Zodiac Man, and ours is pretty low key as far as Zodiac men go. But this is a really great illustration because it really sort of shows how medieval medicine conceived of this connection between the human body and astrology and the zodiac. So there was this belief that different parts of the body were controlled or influenced by by the signs of the zodiac, both depending on when you were born in the year, and also when in the year you were having whatever problem you were having. So here's, from the top to the bottom, starting with Aries and then going all the way to Pisces, um, down down there. So this is sort of fun, and you have that excellently placed Scorpio right there, covering up any problematic bits. But I think that's a really nice one. Um, let's see, Joyce. I'm seeing more of these things here that you pointed out earlier. Um, I think that yeah, I'm not sure what's going on, but I'm no longer convinced it's a letter. I think it's, oh, is it Etem again? Amy says it's Etem. Oh, it is Etem. They just like to make that eye that way, I guess, and I'm just noticing it more. Um, yes, Tess is asking about publications on this manuscript. I know that some work has been done by, oh, I'm totally blanking. She's at the University of Oklahoma. Jennifer Borland she was here a couple of years ago, and I know she's done some work on it. But there's nothing in the description. So I should check with her and see if there's more. So this is bathing. Contrary to popular belief, medieval people bathed, and it was, but you can see because it's part of this medical manuscript, it it was considered something, a part of your um, health work. So that's sort of interesting. Um, but medieval people definitely did bathe. Let's see. I know there's at least two more illustrations here. There's a naked man with no kind of marks on him. I'm not sure exactly what he's doing there, but he is hanging out. And one more, and then we can go. Here's another item. This one almost looks like a little fish. I think maybe um, that would be. I'm not sure what that is. Here's another one. Item. They were just having a good time with that, I think. Come on, I know you're here. One more. Here we go. He's my favorite. So this is a a doctor looking at a container full of urine. Yeah, yeah, you're right. And it's called uroscopy. Was this practice of examining urine? You can tell that it's urine because they always use these round-bottomed um, flasks. This was the type of flask that they use, and not in this manuscript, unfortunately, but in other manuscripts, you'll see um, charts that were used that have a lot of these little bottles with different colors in them, and they're labeled. And the doctors would actually use those charts and compare the charts with real urine to sort of help figure out and make a diagnosis about what might be going on. And there would be notes in the chart around also smell and sometimes taste. Um, not they wouldn't drink pee, but they might like put a finger in and taste it to see maybe it's sweet. Because if it's sweet, there's too much sugar in it, and that would be an indication of something going wrong. So that's what's happening here. The most interesting charts of these urine charts are in a circular form, and we call them urine wheels because they look like a wheel with all these different colors, ranging from like light yellow to black. And it's always like, what's going on with those black ones? Like you must be really sick. So that's the end. And then at the very, very end, there is genealogical notes on a family who I think owned the manuscript at some later point. So that's a later edition. So thank you so much for walking through this manuscript with me. This was really fun. And please take a look at the record and the digital images if you want to see more. Email me if you have any more questions. And I hope that we'll see you again next week because I think next week is some of my most favorite fun stuff. So it'll be great. So thanks everybody, and I will see you later.